There are some really good things that are happening right now, but the global system has been weaponized against you. Banks, corporations, government, some of the most powerful institutions controlling money are all on the board. And yesterday they opened up in Davos and they had the Great Reset conference that is going on this week in Davos. Everything you need to know, they're saying it. It's incredible. By the way, do you know who the opening speaker was? Xi Jinping, the president of China. Now, why would you have him at the Great Reset? Because China is the model. China is the way the world, these people, want it to work. Then Anthony Fauci. So you had the guy who, hey, from a laboratory near you, here's the guy who's in charge of the country and the laboratories. And here's the guy supposedly fighting for you, the little guy, Anthony Fauci. Now, listen to what he says. He's there to talk about COVID because the Great Reset has been very much about COVID. But he's talking about COVID, but listen to what he focuses on. This is yesterday at the Davos conference with Anthony Fauci.
One of the things that I believe the entire world is facing, but we certainly are facing it in a very, very disconcerting way in the United States, is the amount of disinformation that is accompanying what should be a problem where everyone pulls together against the common enemy, which is the virus. We have disinformation that is entirely destructive to a comprehensive public health endeavor. And I'm not sure how we're going to counter that except by getting out as much correct information as we possibly can and use the social media in a positive way as opposed to in the somewhat destructive way that it is being used right now.
So in other words, we need to ban people who disagree with us. That's what he's saying, and that's what they're planning on doing. I just started reading a book by Klaus Schwab. He's the guy who is the head of the World Economic Forum. He is the real architect, if you will, behind the Great Reset. He wrote a book called The Great Reset, where it's just written really for the Davos crowd. And he explains it. It's very flowery and wonderful and positive. He wrote a book right before COVID that was also for Davos. And that one is called Industrial Revolution 4, I think. And this goes to something I've been talking about for 25 or 30 years. There's going to come a time where technology just takes over everything and everything in your life is going to change. And I've been talking about this for quite some time. This book explains why the Great Reset, he believes, is necessary. But it reads like a Brave New World. It is terrifying. It's the end of individualism. It is the end of those people who just will not go along. He talks about how everything has to be transformed, including humans and humankind itself. He talks about gene splicing and all kinds of different, really, truly, in 1930s kind of stuff. And you're either going to go along, as George Soros said to one of my guys one point, you either are on the boat or you're not. And in this book, he talks about there are going to be people who will not be into transhumanism. They will not be into an interface with the internet. They will not want to make these technological or banking or capitalist changes towards a more of a Chinese society. And he said those people will be destructive and in the way, and we'll have to learn how to deal with them. It is truly terrifying that major corporations are falling in with these people. And major banks are already knee deep. The IMF has $1 trillion of investment in the Great Reset. Trillion. That's A remarkable number.
Is this just the motivation here? Is this just personal enrichment, centralizing of power, or is it something where they have some bizarre justification that this is good for society and this will make a difference?
I think it's a combination of all of them. I think there are those people who are those utopians. I mean, the same, really, honestly, Stu, it is the same early 20th century progressive that thought better living through science, and we can breed the stupidity out of people.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we're superior, so let's make sure that person doesn't breed again. It's that kind of arrogance coupled with the actual scientific know-how now, okay? We couldn't do those things when we were in genetics. The Germans were trying all kinds of stuff. They couldn't do it. He pretty much talks about superhumans in this, and being able to gene splice and create better people, and then to have transhumanism bring technology as part of the human body. That way we can interface. I mean, it is truly a frightening view. I'm not sure his motivation. I take it at surface and say he really thinks that this is going to make the world better. I think there are people like at BlackRock that are the investment people. They know exactly what they're doing. They're just enriching themselves and taking money. I mean, there are those who actually believe these things and are really twisted, and then there are those who are just doing it for the money. I think it's the same thing as fascism always is. You know, was Mao a true believer of communism, or was he just a psycho? I don't know.
And certainly surrounding him was a mixture.
A mixture.
Yeah, I mean, that was certainly the case in Germany and Italy and all, many places in history where you have the hardcore believers and you have the people who are seeing where the wind is blowing,
right,
and looking to take advantage of that.
You have people, and this is what's really truly frightening, because I haven't found a way to connect people to this thought. And you know me, I've been telling you this since 1995, since Age of Spiritual Machines. We are headed towards real ethical questions on humanity itself, and how do we use our money and our resources, and how do we get paid, and what does work mean to us? Where do we get our value in life? All of these things. He mentions all of that in his book, and it is a real concern. So his and those who believe in the Great Reset, their viewpoint is the world is going to go into chaos because people are stupid and people won't do what they have to do, and we're not going to be able to get them, so it'll be a world revolution. And so what we have to do is control everything right now and just take away all of those options from people. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yes.
And, again, yesterday I talked to you about humanity. Let me play the NBA Warriors.
Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, Golden State Warriors co-owner. Listen to what he felt comfortable saying yesterday about China and the Uyghurs.
Let's be honest, nobody cares about what's happening to the Uyghurs, okay? You bring it up because you really care, and I think that's nice that you care. The rest of us don't care. I'm just telling you a very hard...
Wait, you're saying you personally don't care?
I'm telling you a very hard, ugly truth, okay? Of all the things that I care about, yes, it is below my line. Okay? Of all the things that I care about, it is below my line.
Disappointing.
I care about the fact that our economy could turn on a dime if China invades Taiwan. I care about that. I care about climate change. I care about I care about America's crippling and, decrepit healthcare infrastructure. But if you're asking me, do I care about a segment of a class of people in another country? Not until we can take care of ourselves will I prioritize them over us.
Holy cow. And who says you have to prioritize them over us? Isn't that part of the human experience? That all life is important to you? What's terrifying about this, and also at the same time good, what's terrifying about this is here's this guy who he's big, very important investor, et cetera, et cetera. He feels so confident that he can say out loud, yeah, there's a Holocaust going on, and I don't care. It means nothing to me. Those people mean nothing to me.
Especially when challenged like that. I mean, look, we all know that there are bad things going on in the world and we can't care about every little one every single day. I mean, we might care.
It's a pretty big one.
In theory, right? But we don't even know all the things that are going on.
Correct.
This one, however, would you say, Glenn, is the largest ongoing genocide in the world?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, maybe what else would you compare to it? I mean, maybe North Korea as a country that has been in this current state this entire time.
And imagine saying, I don't care about any of the people that are in the slave camps
in North
who
Korea
are being tortured and killed in North Korea.
It's incomprehensible.
Yeah.
For a person to feel comfortable saying that is remarkable.
It's a lack of humanity. It's a lack of empathy and arrogance.
This guy's not doing any business in North Korea either, at least that we know of. They are doing business with China and have been trying to do business with it and have criticized people just for claiming that a place like Hong Kong should be free. They're attacking general managers in the sport for that reason. So to feel comfortable just blurting out that you don't care about it, it's one thing to say, like, look, there's a million problems and I haven't focused on that one that much.
Yeah.
That's understandable. Not everyone can do that. Though, I will say this is, again, the biggest one in the world right now, and also one that is in a current controversy with his business interests. So I wouldn't believe him if he said he didn't think about it.
Here is the really good news. More and more, every single day, it is so easy to realize, am I on the right side or the wrong side? All you have to do is know a little bit of history. If somebody like IBM did, IBM said in the 1930s, I don't really care what they're doing about the Jews. I don't care. Is that the right side of history or the wrong side of history? Because eventually people do care. Eventually we leave this state of insanity. And when it resets, you're going to have to live with, oh my gosh, I was part of that. I think it's easier and easier. It's very easy to decide, listening to that, which is the good side and which is the side that's wrong for history. Make your choice. And they're easy.